Hello guys and girls, welcome back to episode 5 of Automation / BeamNG Automotive Spotlight, and we're here today with another kind of car. This is a little different as it's going to be more of a replica of something that already exists, but fine-tuned a little bit into the lore that we've currently got going. So this is from an Australian automaker, Thornett. And Thornett have produced a car that came in many different shapes and sizes called the Dargo. However, you can tell by the name in speech marks that this is going to be based on a Hot Wheels car, and if the sticker didn't already give it away, well, there you are. I've done some little details already because I was so excited to even get started with it, but it's stupidly quick, as you would expect any Hot Wheels car to be. You know, see down here, it's doesn't weigh too much for what it is. It's big old V8 with a supercharger strapped to it. 205 miles per hour top speed, which I originally thought was stupid, but then I remembered, wait a minute, it's a Hot Wheels car, it's supposed to be quick. I think that's a bit more than quick, actually. But yeah, very excited to get started with building this one. And if we go over to the engine, just have a look here and see the actual power unit for yourselves. It is monstrous, 6-litre push-rod V8. Pretty typical of automakers like Holden at the time were using engines like this, and then a big old blower on top, just to make sure we get the extra power. Just shy of 500 horsepower in this thing, which again I think is pretty appropriate for the year, around about 2001. So what we'll do is we will, as ever, hop into the speed build and I'll walk you through it, and then we will go from there. Righty, so here we go. This was an interesting one, primarily because I was going off of something that already exists, so this will also teach me to rarely do replica cars as well. Just telling you that now. There are several bits with this one that I wasn't so happy with, but also there were bits that I liked too. There were things that I learned. I think that's always an important thing when you're building a car, right, is just to make sure that you do it to the best of your ability. If you learn something from it, that's great. If not, no worries. But this was interesting, and I was going off of the original concept art for the Fandango, as well as the some of the boxes. You can find the cars in some of the real life ones, and I was taking inspiration from the production type and from the prototype. I originally started with this raised grille. I need to learn how to do raised grills properly with custom fixtures, because I went back to it and it looked kind of silly, so I went and removed the raised grille in the end, opting for a flat grille instead. I thought that looked better in the end, but also, again, this is supposed to be a fictional car, right? We can also take some creative liberties and just say it was inspired by the real thing, right? It doesn't have to be like a one-to-one for the real thing, which is probably just copium, honestly, for the amount of details that I had to alter or change just to kind of fit my current skill set with automation. But this was humbling, for sure. This was definitely a humbling experience. Anyway, wanted the big square arches on this because the real thing has that, and I do eventually go back and alter the actual base arches on the car to make sure that they fit a little bit more flush, and also that you can see less of the existing arches. Again, removing the arches would be something I need to know, or something I need to learn, just so I can make that look better. Again, you can only notice it when you're looking at it up close, and from a distance it looks good, but up close you can still see the original arches of the car, so I wanted to make sure that you could hide those as best as possible. The front, I eventually found better lower fixtures for the grille bit, this sort of split entry that the real car has. The real thing has a lot going on the front. It's a very noisy front end in terms of what it looks like, and there's lots of indents, and there's lots of like different body kit bits, and there's just a lot going on. It's a Hot Wheels car, right? There's of course there's going to be a lot going on, and there are bits that you see here in the speed build that are changed in the final thing. Either they didn't work very well in Beam. A very helpful commenter actually pointed out to me that only the reason why so many people are having text issues with the automation exports is currently only the actual automation supported text works. A lot of the custom text doesn't show up in Beam. It has like image error or no image resolution or whatever it is. So if you're looking at using text, then only use the actual text that Beam provides, not the custom ones that have been made by modders. So lots of body modding on the front, like I said before. Lots of wheel offset as well. It's a Hot Wheels car, again, it's got to have a decent amount of offset front and rear. It's got to look aggressive, it's got to look stancy. Managed to find rims as well that support the lip feature, so you've got that red iconic lip that a lot of Hot Wheels cars have, at least the retro ones. I don't think the Fandango actually has a version that has these kind of wheels, but I thought I would give it to it because it looks very cool. Of course, how Australian brand originally, I went for like a spider logo, then changed it to like this Impala looking thing. I thought that looked a lot better and closer to the actual name of the company as well. I thought it suited it better. Add in some indents on the front, then move into the back as well. Again, lots of the name of the game here with this car is just lots of body molding. The Hot Wheels car has tons of it, so I wanted to support that in this version of the vehicle as much as possible. Again, adding the third brake light in and some typical like blobby 2000 tail lights, very typical of the era. Again, the Hot Wheels car has these, so I thought I would add it on. And there are certain parts of this car I'm really, really happy with, and there's also lots of parts that I really wish I could change as well, but that's all part of the learning process when you're making automation vehicles. Day in, day out, as you'll gradually learn, you'll gradually get better. It's all an experience, and I got to a point, you know, where I was happy with it. I got to a point where I was like, okay, I can look at it, it looks good. I think that it's representative of what I was trying to recreate. So always remember that, as long as you're happy with it, then it doesn't really matter. So this was probably the most challenging I've had so far, again, just because I was going off of something not that actually exists, but like there's a real life basis for it. So I spent lots of time trying to be, I think I was a bit of a perfectionist when it came to all the details. So once again, in goes the staple interior. Only 2 seats here because the rest of it is either a bed or a storage space in the back. You know, it would have been a utility vehicle at some point. And my plan with the Dargo range was to have like a sedan and a ute, and those will probably come in the future as well. But this panel van was perfect for the Fandango and exactly what I needed. It was actually a mod body, but there you are. That's the Thornett Dargo Fandango. Feel free to pause your video now and look up all the stats, figures, all that stuff. And now we'll head to the lore section. This is the Thornett Dargo Fandango, and yes, it's a real car, and no, you can't have one. That's because only one even exists. One, singular, unique. Which is a shame really, because it's utterly ridiculous in the best possible way. The Dargo name has been many things over the years: sedan, ute, coupe, but not a panel van, or at least not since the 80s. And then Hot Wheels turned up and said, how about we make one? Thornett, to their eternal credit, didn't just say yes, well, they went full cartoon villain. It's a slab-sided panel van with a 6-litre supercharged pushrod V8 crammed into the front, producing 488 horsepower and so much torque that it could probably turn the Earth's crust. And in fact, the gearbox from the standard Dargo didn't stand a chance, so they fitted a sequential instead. Not because it's quicker, or even because it's racier, but the normal gearbox would literally shred itself to pieces. On the move, it's like trying to steer a small skyscraper while a rocket engine is bolted to the back. It doesn't just accelerate, it literally charges forward, leaving long, expensive black lines behind it. Perfect for Hot Wheels, really. It spent most of its life touring the world, pulling crowds at motor shows from Tokyo to Texas, but in 2015 at Drift Matsuri, bit off a bit more than it could chew, kissed a concrete wall and ended up in a sorry heap. A normal manufacturer might have quietly shelved it at that point. The Thornett, however, to their eternal credit, repaired it and repainted it and sent it straight back out again, just as bonkers as before. Today the Fandango still pops up at events, often parked next to the real-life twin mill, looking like someone's childhood toy collection has leapt into the real world. And unlike most one-off customs, which vanish after their 15 minutes of fame, the Fandango simply refuses to die. It's not subtle, it's not sensible, and it's not even remotely necessary, but it's brilliant. It's that time again, hill climb, here we go. And yeah, so the Hot Wheels decal didn't actually export in the way I wanted it to, unfortunately. It comes out with that black background. I think some PNGs do that. Anyway, we're here to talk about the car itself, and as you can see, it is a massive handful. Like this, as soon as the supercharger kicks in, it's uncontrollable wheel spin, which I guess that's kind of cool because it does make it exceedingly Australian. Australians do love their Burnout cars after all, so this thing will do burnouts through first, second, third, and maybe even fourth as well. Anyway, through Molecomb here, just wrestling it through. As you can see, very difficult to even keep it on the road. As soon as that supercharger kicks in and all the power comes on, it's just ridiculous. It's just mental. The eagle-eyed of you may see that ESC marker down in the bottom. I have figured out it does nothing. That's just a weird quirk with automation cars, and if you give a car anything more than ABS, it tends to do that. But doesn't seem to be affecting it here as it slides its way past the flint wall up to the final corner. You actually have to let off and even kiss the barrier here as we head towards the finish line, and it gets a time of 0 seconds 56 550, which puts it almost within touching distance of the Valanche, and the only car to even get remotely close, which I mean, with this much power we thought that was going to be the case anyway. But we now move to the track segment, where this was even more of a handful here, because it's got so much more speed to work with. It's really able to open itself up, and as you can see here in third gear, even through fourth there, if again the eagle-eyed of you will notice there's tyre marks on getting on the power through fourth as well. So it was really all about modulating throttle, and man, did the oversteer assist come in clutch here. I tell you, it was just every time. I think anytime you went into second, it would really throw the tail end round. So I made sure to basically try and avoid second where possible, and try to use third, which, I mean, when you've got as much torque as this third gear, is still a pretty good launch gear out of corners. As you can see there though, even in third, having to reapply throttle and recenter the car in a straight line just to even get it to cooperate in any form. But down the straight, again, hitting almost 145 then before having to jump on the brakes for this corner. I actually came off quite a few times here during practice sessions. It was, yeah, it's a handful, and I'd even argue more than the Avalanche, because this thing is built to be insane. It's not a supercar where, like, you could kind of argue that it was sold to a mass market. This thing is built to just be crazy, so it makes perfect sense that at every given opportunity it just wants to hurt you through the corners. Unfortunately, it's not very nice through corners. As you can see here, I almost kissed the wall. It's only 1.3 tons, but I think because of the way it's built and the fact it's got the drag coefficient of a brick and it's got a really heavy engine up the front, there's a lot of factors that make it quite unpleasant to drive. I mean, in a straight line, like I said, it will outgun nearly everything we've built thus far. In a straight line, it's definitely the second fastest car we've ever built, but as far as corners are concerned, you see here, like, this is where cars like the Terrier MSR and the Canary R-Type will catch up, because this thing is just a boat through corners. It's awful. It's almost, I want to say it's basically on par with how bad the Kodiak was in the rally stage. But in this case, you just can't put any power down. The Kodiak was just sluggish. This is just mad. This is crazy. But it comes across the line here. Supercharger winding away, gearbox also winding away. So lots of different sounds going on here, and it gets 209.849, which puts it marginally ahead of a lot of other cars we've seen thus far. So really good showing, even if it couldn't really hook up around the corners. But yeah, we'll get on with the final section and see how this thing stacks up. So we head to the final ranking for the Dargo Fandango, and it doesn't take a lot of imagination to put together how well it did. I mean, you guys saw the rankings earlier on the actual beam boards, but here you are just to put it in perspective with everything else. So, of course, Goodwood, we saw it went second fastest, only let down by its corner performance. I think if it had more turning ability, it would have definitely been able to go probably to the top, to be fair. I reckon it would have gone to the top. The lap time, similar scenario. If it was just able to hook up a bit better through corners, I reckon it would have been able to challenge the V1. But it's also lacking a little bit power in comparison to the V1 as well. But good showing nonetheless when compared to the other road cars. And in terms of the tuner and sports cars, it actually pushes the MSR Terrier down to A tier, because of course that falls outside of the 3 seconds required to last within S tier. So that's shaking things up a little bit in the sports class. But that has been it for me and for the Fandango today. But thank you very much for watching. Tune in next time, where I don't know what we'll be building. That's the beauty of it, really, is at this stage it's all guesswork. So I will see you next time, where we'll be building something maybe as mental, maybe not. But stay tuned to find out. Thank you.